I think ultimately what you try to do is to be inclusive, to try to get people to be able to resonate. But then what the problem is, you go overboard by saying, well, I'm going to try to do this for everything. And at this point now, with new sort of demographics being defined every day, at what point are you going to take complete step away from your target audience? Like, for example, with what happened with Marvel. Yeah. After Endgame had concluded, and then they started, like, I think the latest movie with Captain Marvel that came out, and you have 3 female leads primarily. But if you look at the Marvel audience, the target audience isn't going to the theaters just because it's a female lead. You're going there because you love comics, you love stories. Yeah. When you now contort stories, you then start changing characters, which I'm not, indicting them on for depending on what the situation may be. But when you make the entire movie simply about the gender of the characters, or the race, and it got nothing to do, or the race, and it got nothing to do with the actual plot line, and you're just like, look at the people who are the superheroes here, shit starts to get a little weird. Yeah. And then the target market that you're trying to market to don't actually care about this, so you're trying to get butts in seats simply because I can identify with this character. It's never going to work.
That takes me to that point where it's like, well, why? Because they know this. Right. I mean, it's not like they're like oblivious to this. I think it all leads to like, well, why are you making business decisions that are clearly not profitable and that your target audience? For instance, Bud Light. And it's like, well, if you know you're going to lose money on this, because you are.
They didn't know.
They had to
know. No, they had to have known.
So it's like, well, is someone in your pocket? Are you getting more money from like billionaire elites?
Who's funding you? Right.
Because they wouldn't have sponsored UFC if that was the case. They wouldn't have dropped.
No, but that's on a recoup sort of situation.
So I think this is what happens. I think this is what happens. Business owners or like these businesses, when they advertise, they think they're gonna get fucking championed by doing this. For Bud Light, they put the I don't want to say gender. They put the person on the
Dylan Mulvaney.
They put the person They put the person on the can, right? They thought that the public was gonna turn around. It's like, Bud Light is so brave. Look at what they're doing.
They thought they were just get the gay.
Yeah, shout out to Bud Light. But here's the thing: gay people don't drink Bud Light,
and they have a fruity seltzer already. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's like gay people don't drink Bud Light. They're not like.
But they have another product that gay people would drink.
Right.
I don't know.
But like
the seltzer, why don't you do that?
But then then they're gonna get heat for it. It's like, oh, why are you gonna put the fucking gay guy on?
Because that's what
fruit drink. Right.
And that's by the way.
That kind of emboldens your point. That kind of emboldens your point because it's like you strategically went and said, I'll choose this product in particular. Yeah. Like, you must have known ahead of time. Now, granted, they probably didn't anticipate the drop-off that they had being so substantial, but there's no way they didn't think this can cause, a particular kind of uproar.
I think it's pressure from a different... I think when you become such a big entity like Disney, Bud Light, or what's the parent company of Bud Light? Is it
Anheuser-Busch?
I forget.
If it's that, I mean, they have other people trying to push a global agenda. I went from liberal to like, there is 100% George Soros influencing all of these things.
He's deep. He's deep.
Dude, it's like, it's so evident.
Listen, don't MAGA up our podcast, bro.
I think there's an element of truth.
We have a very middle of the ground podcast. You're MAGAing it up right now,
dude,
bro.
Dude, wait till you see the swastika tattoo. No, but no, dude, it's just so evident. It's so evident that like they're pushing this crazy agenda that stops the family, stops you reproducing, convinces you you're gay, bisexual, transgender, and come on, I mean, birth control.
The reason I don't think that
works.
I've always had an issue with that.
Birth control, and then we're finding out now that women that take birth control are attracted to more feminine men. So here, check this out. You take this birth control, it stops you from having a baby, right? But let's say one slips through the cracks. What's it going to be? With a weak feminine man. And what comes from a weak feminine dude? A weak feminine boy.
We got David Tate on the podcast right now.
Yeah, so it's like, God forbid one slips through, you're going to have it with a weak dude. Yeah, so I'm not even threatened.
He's spitting right now. That's true.
I understand with this global agenda stuff. The reason I don't really go too deep into that is because at the end of the day, if it doesn't make money, eventually it loses. If it's not productive, it loses eventually.
Right, but if you're getting your money from George Soros just splashing it on you to push this agenda,
right,
then you're fine. It's like, oh, but they're losing money. Yeah, I think, it's just off the books in Cayman Islands somewhere else.
Because whoever is funding has enough money to cover, whatever the losses may be. Because that's exactly what I also agree with that. I think there's an element of truth to there as well.
You have the reverse of that, though, because you have like an Elon Musk who buys Twitter.
Right.
Well, those are people that are like Dana White.
It's like a fight
fuck
back.
you can't buy me, motherfucker.
Right. That's a fuck you kind of money situation to where you can't be corrupted
by
that.
Elon Musk, they asked them, they're like, what, I think they asked something about like being censored, and he goes, I don't care what it costs, you're not going to silence me.